live. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. My name is Fabian Holland, and we'll be talking about pretty much anything. I'm a little bit late to today's live stream. Hey, Gij, how's it going? Hope you're good. And I'll be playing songs. I'll be talking about stuff as we're going, answering questions. So please, as usual, feel free to ask me any questions. I had to quickly jump on this after sorting everything out at home. So technically, it might be a little bit sort of seeing how things are going, but it looks like I'm coming across clearly. That looks okay to me. Hopefully, you can all hear me. Gij, if you could just let me know that you can hear me okay, then that would be great. But it looks like I am coming through. Okay, let me try my guitar a little bit. Try add a bit of reverb. Okay, as usual, I'm going to be trying out a few new things. I like to use these live streams as just a way of trying things out and exploring different setups, seeing if I can do things a little bit differently. You know, I'm just going to take a sip of this. Hopefully we're coming through. All good, Gij says. Fantastic. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and start with a song. And just to basically see where all the levels are at and stuff like this. How we're getting on. Hey Arnie, how's it going? Hope you're good. Says sounds great. Perfect. All right, I'll try this song. I've got things hooked up a little differently, so we'll just see how it goes. I've got the black stack here, the sound hole pickup, going through a few pedals. And that's the only one that's going through some pedals. And I've got it hooked up to a volume pedal. So I don't know how this would work, if it would work at all. We'll see. And I'm kind of controlling everything with the interface here. So in past live streams I've done, it's through, have to go through the computer and use the DAW. But then obviously I can't monitor directly from the DAW because then I'll be hearing like a latency. So now I've worked out a way of actually adding reverb and everything from the interface just directly to the computer, which is a lot easier because that means what I'm hearing, you're hearing. So you know that obviously makes a lot more sense. So here we go. I'm going to try to add a bit of reverb to the vocals. A little bit of reverb to the vocals. Not too much. Don't want to go crazy. There we go.
Call him Matt Eric, he talks to himself with a crutch at his left hand, he walks with its help. Ain't got no money, can't afford nothing else. Drinks all day, falls over himself. Searching around these streets he roams, and people's falling change. It's cold outside, need a home. It's pouring down with rain. Eric don't have no home, no money, no job, nowhere to go. No woman, not sanity, and this ain't funny, cause half of it you don't know. Yeah, they call him Mad Eric when his kids walk by, curses, shouts and fists the sky. Crazy old man they call him, but why? Crazy old man they say. And go, Eric, go. Play that blues, you know. You find it hard to cope. You're hungry, cold, tired and broke. Every day's the same, just gets worse. Ain't got no one on this earth. Go, Eric, go. Play that blues, you know. 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 Call him Mad Eric, talks to himself with a crutch at his left hand, he walks with its helm. Ain't got no money, can't afford nothing else. Drinks all day, falls over himself. Searching around these streets he roams, and people's falling change. It's cold outside, you need a home. It's pouring down with rain. Eric don't have no home, no money, no job, nowhere to go. No woman, not sanity, and this ain't funny, cause half of it you don't know. Yeah, they call him Mad Eric when his kids walk by, curses, shouts and fists the sky. Crazy old man they call him, but why? Crazy old man they say. Go, Eric, go. Play that blues, you know. You find it hard to cope. You're hungry, cold, tired and broke. Every day's the same, just gets worse. Ain't got no one on this earth. Go, Eric, go. Play that blues, you know. Play that blues, you know. play the blues, you know, yeah. Play the blues, you know. Play the blues, you know. Play the blues, you know. Go, Everett, go, play the blues, you know. You find it hard to cope, you're hungry, cold, tired and broke. Every day's the same, just gets worse. Ain't got no one on this earth. Go, Everett, go, go, Everett, go. Go, Everett, go, play that blues, play that blues, play that blues. I'll play that blues, 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 play that blues. I'll play that blues, play that blues, play that blues, play that blues. Play the blues, you know. Play the blues, you know, yeah. Play the blues, you know. Play the blues, you know. Play the blues, you know.
Was Mad Eric, of course. Jidge knows. How's it going, everyone? If you've just joined the live stream, then you haven't missed much. I've just started. I've just played the first song, and usually, or I say most of the time, I'm quite prepared. But today I had to sort of just whack up things, plug things in quickly, and and just hit go live. So I might not be as prepared as usual, and of course I like to experiment and I like to try different things out, you know, which is a good thing to do in general, is to kind of go out of your comfort zone and try new things. But if it's like gear related, if it's technically stuff, you're trying new things, then, you know, it can it can be tricky, especially doing a live stream. You know, there's always something that goes wrong, but generally it's pretty smooth. I'm trying a different angle of the camera. You can see a little bit more of what's behind me in my studio. It's basically a basement I'm in. I live in the middle of a city. We're in Berlin, and that there behind me, like where this light is, that's my workbench. So that's kind of where I do workbench stuff, mainly guitar related stuff like soldering or doing stuff like that. I don't build guitars, unfortunately. I don't have the eye and the detail for that. I'm definitely a lot more bish bash bosh. You know, although I do like building my own instruments, just they're more like very primitive sort of diddly bows and lap steels, this sort of stuff. Anyway, it appears that I'm coming through okay and that you can hear me. Obviously, if anybody has any issues with like the sound, obviously that's the most important thing. I'm just gonna change my light slightly. Hopefully, it's not gonna like fall on me. It's a big light here. Oh, it's a bit better. Just trying different things, you know, trying different things out. It's also quite a bit not easy with a live stream because, you know, you have to look at the camera. Like I use the camera, and then I also have to look at the screen as well, you know. But obviously I have to have a guitar at the same time, so it's always a little bit awkward. And I never like it when, you know, if you see some live streams, some people put the camera quite high up because it's above the screen, you know. And I never like that look of how the camera's high up because the guitar always looks really small. I much prefer the camera quite low, like this is now, because so you can see the whole guitar, you know, and you can see what I'm doing and everything like that. I much prefer that look. But anyway, we'll see how we get on here. I've got various sort of microphones and pickups that I'm using, and I just need to check the levels here. Oh yeah, I was clipping a little bit just on this vocal microphone I'm using. This is a dynamic microphone, so it may sound a little bit different. I usually use like a condenser microphone, like a large diaphragm condenser mic. But obviously that picks up a lot of the room, which is fine in general, but it also picks up a lot of like the noise around, like outside of the room as well. And obviously, you know, I have my family here, and it's like we live in a flat in a city. There's noise, you know, there's noise that goes on, and it's fine. It's Saturday night as well in the middle of a city. Like there's noise that happens. So, and I just want to check, like, I'm getting some sound from some of the pickups. So I'm gonna go through the pickups a little bit, and I'm just gonna mute the, yeah, that's the sound. I'm getting some noise through the black stack there, and it's probably not the black stack because I know the black stack is really quiet. But I'm going through like some preamps and some pedals, and you know, then of course you're prone to extra noise when that happens. I mean, what is everyone else's opinions? I'd be interested to know about like noise in terms of everything, like, you know, like ground noise. We're talking like hiss, hums, and this sort of stuff. I'm not too bothered by it, unless I'm playing extremely quietly, which I do sometimes. And if it's too prominent, and if it's like a frequency that I can just hear, particularly just annoys me, then that is annoying, you know. But you know, some microphones, especially like ribbon microphones, they generally have more noise than condensers or dynamics, you know. So, but is that a bad thing? I don't necessarily think so, you know. Also with like guitar amps, electric guitar amps, especially if you're using like single coil pickups and stuff like this, can have huge amount of noise if you're using any kind of gain and this sort of stuff. I mean, I'm not electric guitars is not my expertise necessarily, but I have played electric guitars. I have had electric guitars in the past, and I know some people that watch these live streams and watch my videos do also play electric as well. So it'd be interesting to know, I don't know, people's thoughts and opinions on that, like noise, because it used to bother me especially when I was a little less experienced, and when I just started out recording, but it kind of annoys me a little bit less. Anyway, I haven't even looked at the at the comments yet. Let's see what's going on. It just says, "You're a pro, you'll be fine." Thanks, Jidge. Huff Duster. What a great name. Yo, Fabian, you still running the black stack in your rig? Yeah, absolutely, I am. Yeah, that's what you can hear. The black stack. I'm also running the K&K pickup as well at the same time. So I've got the K&K pickup and the black stack, as well as this little microphone here as well, picking up a bit of the acoustic sounds, all the airiness. Jidge says, how come you live above a bakery, but you've got a basement? That's a good question. Actually, we live in a bakery. It used to be a bakery, our flat, and you get that a lot, like in Berlin. Things that used to be a bakery get turned into an apartment, and that happened with us. So it's like the shop front is basically our living room, and then the basement here is basically was like a storage room. So this is where I record everything. This is where I'm doing the live stream right now. So the bakery is just above me, but it's not an actual running bakery right now, if that makes sense. Maybe I was a little not as clear when when I said that, but yeah, it's we live in the bakery, but it's used to be a bakery, so hopefully that makes sense. Arnie says, watching from California, Blackstack is pretty new here. Where is good to buy it? Sound is great. Well, the Blackstack has actually been out for a long time. It's actually, I think it's been out for like 10 years or something like this. But it's not something that fishermen promote too much, I feel. Even though it's the only pickup that they have that has these individual pole pieces, and I'm a huge fan of these individual pole pieces because they let you have a lot of control over, the strings themselves, in terms of the volume, and I really like that. I'm not a fan of the sound hole pickups that don't have individual pole pieces, and I know some other ones do as well. There's plenty out there that have these as well, but this is the only Fisherman one that has that. And where to buy it? I think you can get it a lot of places. In the US, probably like Sweetwater, I'm guessing you could probably buy it there. Guitar Center, these sort of places. Timothy says, bugs me. Are you talking about the noise, the ground noise level I was talking about earlier? Yeah. Yeah, okay, that bugs you. Jidge says, my only noise problem is my dog, who loves to join in. That sounds really cool, actually. If your dog enjoys joining in. I mean, not if you're not up for that sort of sound, but it sounds pretty fun. Playing with your dog. That's great. Timothy says, live in a house built in 1914, so it's a battle. Yeah. So it's like lots of like house noises that is like creaky and water pipes and stuff like this, I'm guessing, right? Yeah, that can be tricky. I mean, these buildings are also quite old, like over 100 years, and yeah, there are sometimes noises just like of old pipes and just stuff, that old buildings have, which can be tricky in the moment, that specific moment when you just need to, when you go really quiet, and it's just all about that sort of intimate sound, that intimate moment. If you get like a creak or something, or a bang or something happens in that moment, then yeah, that can kind of ruin the mood. It can ruin the performance if you listen to that as a performer. But it can also just ruin the recording as well. Just not completely ruin it, but you know what I mean. It can be an annoying thing that is captured in there. But I don't know. I try not to be annoyed by these things anymore as much, by sounds and stuff like that. Generally, I have to say, I enjoy like other sounds that you can hear. The creak of your chair, your shirt like scratching on your, I don't know, catching on your guitar or stuff like this. Just the creak of the wood of your guitar, on your lap or stuff like this. I actually really enjoy these sounds, and I actually try and almost emphasize them sometimes in recordings, because I feel sometimes, not all the time, but in some recordings, I like that. I almost require that sound, because I'm after that sort of vibe, but it obviously not all the time. VV says, there are studies showing that plants can feel music. Interesting. I bet they can. You might, I don't know, maybe you said that because you see some of the plants behind me. These are actually fake plants. I hate to spoil it. None of these are real. And the reason of that is because I'm in a basement and there's no natural light. Like, you see these look like windows. They are windows behind me, like here and like back there. But you open the curtains and it's like brick walls, basically. So there's literally no sunlight, not even indirect sunlight, that comes in here at any point of the year. So it's just easier for me to have fake plants. And the reason, like, these are actually look realistic, because I don't know why they look realistic. That's why I got them, because they look so realistic. And I'm trying to like trick my brain, because I think it's when we can see like green. I like to see green things, like plants. And if my brain thinks that, oh look, there's a plant, then maybe it'll make me happy. Not that I'm not happy, but you know what I mean. It'll make me a little bit happier. It'll sort of I like the sunshine. I like things like this. I don't spend hours and hours down here or anything like that. I try to get out still and go for walks and stuff like this. But yeah, these plants are not real. It would be inhumane for me to have real plants down here. Armin says, Fabian, what DAW software do you prefer for recording? I really like Reaper, and just because I find it quite easy and simple to use. That's the only reason, really. It's not about the plugins, or it doesn't have any like specific things that I like to use. I really don't use many plugins. I just like to get the best sound that I can before I hit record, and no, that's where I like to spend most of my time, is like mic positioning and stuff like this. And I just like Reaper because it's just, for me, I find it quite easy to use, and it doesn't bombard me with like complicated stuff that I feel is unnecessary, but my DAW recordings are very simple. Like, there's nothing too complicated in terms of like lots of plugins and lots of different effects and all these things going on. It's very simple projects, and yeah, so I'd say any DAW would do the job, as long as it's simple and makes sense to you. I'm sure I would also, I've used Ableton Live in the past as well, and Logic as well. They're all good, and even using something like GarageBand, is really good, because I'm not using any samples. Like I said, I'm not using many plugins or anything like that. I'm just doing simple recordings with microphones, and it doesn't. It's not really a big decision for me to which DAW to use. I don't know why I chose Reaper, just because it was, I just liked it. I think that's the reason. Okay. Fret buzz is the baddest noise for my ears. Yeah, fret buzz. That can. I mean, if that's happening a lot, then you need to look at, like, first thing is you're playing. Like, are you applying enough pressure? This sort of thing. And the other thing, if it keeps happening and you are applying enough pressure and stuff like that, then it's it might be your setup problem, and you need to have your guitar set up. I would generally, I like to take my guitar to someone to set up. I don't try and do it myself, but I know there's people that do themselves as well. But only if you feel confident doing that sort of stuff. Jish says, that's why all my plants die. Nice. I like it. No software effects. I do use some software effects. Yeah, I do use like reverb and compression and stuff like this, and EQ, of course. But just very, very moderately. Nothing too heavy. Jiz says, if you're only recording audio, Audacity is fine and very simple, and it's free. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Audacity as well. And yeah, exactly. If you're just recording a mic, or a couple of mics, or maybe a few mics and your pickup or something like this, then I think you don't need anything too crazy, and especially if you're not making many edits in there as well. Generally, I don't really do much editing. I pretty much like to just do everything in one take. Of course, if I feel like, I need to do an edit, I will. I won't. I won't. How do I put it? I won't not do an edit just because I feel like I can't or I shouldn't. I just, a lot of the time, just kind of like to leave everything in. Sometimes even including my mistakes, and because I feel that it sounds real. And, these are not big mistakes, by the way. These are not like me just completely messing up and stopping and swearing and throwing the guitar. No, these are like very, very minor mistakes, but to me, we all hear our mistakes, don't we? Even if they're very, very small. And I think it just takes experience and time to be comfortable with leaving your mistakes in, and being okay with that. Because we can all get just obsessed over everything having to be perfect, but that's not life, and that's not music, and music I don't think is supposed to be perfect, and that's why I think some people will go for these AI generated musicians and music, or whatever you want to call it, but generally, music is I think should be performed by humans, and it's real and it's raw, and there's mistakes, it's not perfect. Hammerhead Garage, welcome to the live stream. How's it going? Good to see you. All right. Yeah, exactly. GarageBand is also really easy. All right, I'll do another song. Keep the questions coming in. That's really good. I think Armin said like reverb or a compressor. Yeah, a lot of the time I just use the built-in, the built-in reverbs and compressors and stuff like this, and EQ. For me, I find it's kind of enough for what I need. It's very, very minimal stuff that I'm doing. Something I want to ask everyone is how many people here are actually releasing music in terms of like on DSPs. So that's like on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like that. How many people here are releasing like officially releasing music? I mean, what is a release these days? I don't know. But you know what I mean. That would be interesting to me because I feel like I'm going through a change at the moment in terms of my music and how to release things, especially doing the sort of music that I do. It's a lot of people in like the folk scene and the blues scene do things the way they've always done in terms of release albums, every 2 or 3 years, and you create a CD, and I still create CDs. I release CDs, and this still happens, but obviously things are changing. I listen to Spotify, but I'm not a huge fan of Spotify, and I'm not a huge fan of the way things are going. But I'm also open to change and open to doing things differently. So I'm thinking about things a lot, and I want to be releasing more. And obviously, I want to be releasing my next album at some point once I record it. But yeah, this is just I just wanted to maybe start the conversation as if anyone else is releasing stuff, and what might be your process, or maybe you're thinking about it, and what might you do in that situation. All right, everyone, keep with the questions and everything like that, and I'm going to do another song. All right.
these levels. This song is it's called Cold Tea, and it's just about a kind of a story about an old man kind of waiting for his son to visit, and kind of it's a story about loneliness and kind of getting older and this sort of struggle. Here we go. A little bit of reverb. There we go. All right. Tea's gone cold and my feet have froze. In this house the gas spill rose to my fear. Far too old to take this cold. The winter is near. The tea is gone cold. The tea is gone cold. The tea gone cold. The tea is gone cold. I sit and wait for my son. He's always late. He works too hard. He needs a break. I shout so loud, I'm oh so proud. He'll get here soon. Just you wait. The tea is gone cold. The tea is gone cold. The tea has gone cold. The tea tea is gone cold. The tea is gone cold. The tea has gone cold. The tea is gone cold.
So that was Cold Tea. I'm gonna go through some of the pickups here, because I'm definitely getting some noise coming through, which doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me too much. I'm pretty sure some of my pedals here, because I just whacked a bunch of pedals on, and there's a load of cables and like extension power supplies like under this desk here. So there's probably some earth sort of thing happening. But so here we go. So this, so I'm going to play now. I'm going to play the K&K Pure Mini, which is like 3 contact pickups underneath the bridge. I really like this pickup. It's not that expensive as well. It's like, I think it's at like €100 on Thomann. And for the sound you get, it's a lot of low end you get through with this pickup. You don't get, it can sound, specifically with these types of pickups, these types of piezo style pickups, they can sound very muddy, you know. This doesn't sound too bad, especially if you dial it in with if you have a good preamp and EQ. I literally haven't done anything with the EQ on these. As I said, I'm just plugging in and playing, you know. But that's just the K&K. Obviously, you can hear a little bit of that piezo sort of thwack, you know, as it were. We all know that. But in terms of most of them, I think it's not too bad, especially as there's no EQ here or anything like that. It's going into a radial Tonebone PZ Deluxe, really great preamp, but it's literally it's completely like everything is like 12 o'clock. There's no EQ or anything like that. And oh no, sorry, I lie. This is actually going not even into a preamp. This is going straight into my interface, which is also not a bad sound. With a little bit of reverb. So I try and emphasize, if I was EQing this, I would try and emphasize that low end, you know? Because you do get, with this pickup, you do get a lot of nice sort of creamy low end with it, you know. And if I was playing live on stage as well, that would also come through the speakers, you know, that sort of low end. It can be a little prominent to feedback a little bit if you really have it high, but generally I would say it'd be okay, you know, for most venues and setups. So that's that one. And I'm just going to have a listen to the black stack, and this is going through the Radial PZ Deluxe. You can hear, I don't know if you can hear that sort of buzz. Something's going on. I'll mute it now, and I'll turn it back on. So there's something going on, obviously. And I don't even have the pickup playing at the moment. There's no signal. So here's the signal. Okay, so that's what I was hearing. I thought it was there's a lot of reverb. It's kind of drowned out in reverb a little bit. So there's no clarity. So sometimes, you know, I need to be careful if there's too much reverb going on, that it loses a lot of the clarity. Actually, what I'm going to do, because it is annoying me a little bit, I'm going to try something right now, just live on the live stream. You know, that's what live streams are all about. It's about doing crazy stuff live, and because you never know what's going to happen. I'm going to mute it now, so that's muted. I don't even know if anybody can hear that. I can hear it because I'm wearing headphones. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I'm going to unplug this now, and then I'm just going to plug the black stack just straight into my interface, and then we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. I'm going to put the guitar down because it's a lot easier for me to do this without the guitar. Okay, I'm just going to try it. Got to follow the cable where it goes. 1 second, everyone. Spaghetti junction of cables. Okay, I found a cable. I don't know if this is the right one. I need to check. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's the right one. So we're just going to plug it in, and then hopefully this should be the black stack. Let's see. That's better, as you can hear. So much better, so much clearer. So obviously, I don't know what was going on there, but you know, if that's happening to you and you're finding there's just a lot of hum, there's a lot of stuff going on, then it could be just the pedals. It could be that you have a lot of like power extension cables, you know, crossing each other. This can also cause stuff, you know, there's all kinds of things that could go on that you don't know. So yeah, it's important to kind of, if I was not doing a live stream, then I would basically just unplug everything and I would just go through one pedal at a time and then work out what it is. Is it a noisy cable? Is it something, just something else? I would take it away from all the stuff around me, the lights, you know, and I would just plug it in and see what's going on. A lot of this stuff is like process of elimination, I find. But obviously, you know, I'm keeping my cool right now, but if I was doing a performance, if I was actually doing like a performance on stage, I mean, firstly, I'd be a bit more prepared. I would have done a proper sound check. But I think I would just have to kind of live with it. I think something like that is so minor. I would just live with it and be okay with it. But yeah, so this is just something that I feel like I can do on this live stream, because also hopefully it's a little bit informative and interesting to everyone. But anyway, this is the black stack. So the black stack is a little bit less low end, like a lot of sound hole pickups. There's a lot of string noise, you know, so it has that clarity, you know. So I like to combine again, this is no EQ or anything like that, but if I was to EQ this, then I would kind of bring out that clarity. So what I look for when I'm EQing something is I'm looking for what are the things that I like about this pickup or microphone or whatever, and what are the things I don't like about it. What was it good at? What is it not so good at? You know. So I like to bring the clarity out in the sound hole pickup, and then the low end in the bridge pickup, and then, you know, when you combine them, you can get a nice full sound, you know. Bring a bit of reverb in there. Anyway, I'll get back to the to the comments and the questions now after that ramble. Okay. Hammerhead Garage says, going well. Nice. Glad it's going well. Also says, no, but I want to. I'm guessing that's on the do you plan on releasing stuff like officially on Spotify? And this is one of my questions that I said before I played the song. Armin says, 15 years ago, I made a fingerpicking CD for friends and family. Nice. That's great. Yeah, it's like something like that is really nice as well. It's like, you know, you can create. That's the great thing about just recording yourself at home, because you can literally just burn a CD if you've got a CD burner, and create that. You can also, you know, there's lots of these things. Last time I did it anyway, which was 5 years ago, there's lots of these companies that have like print on demand and stuff for CDs, and I don't know if print on demand for CDs. I'm sure there is that, but I actually got pressed a load of CDs, and basically the deal is like the more you get pressed, the cheaper it is. But you know, it's not too expensive for those that still listen to CDs, and I think a lot of people still listen to CDs that are on this live stream and that are that watch my videos. So I still listen to CDs, have a CD player, you know. I still like that physical element, you know. I was listening to the new Rolling Stone album today with my son, playing a card game, you know. It's lovely on a CD player. Lewis, how's it going? Good evening. How are you doing? Welcome to the live stream. From Durban, South Africa. Nice. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hammerhead Garage. That's lovely, Fabian. Thank you so much. That's probably on the song. Jidge says, my music is just for me and I don't use DSPs. They have killed music. I buy CDs. Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know if they've killed music. They definitely it changes, you know. I think it's changed. It's definitely changed since that. It's like when everyone started downloading, and then Napster happened, and then suddenly music was just being downloaded for free, and then Spotify came in, and looked like, you know, it was saved the day for the music industry, not for the musicians, partly for the musicians, but mostly for the record labels, probably. But yeah, it's I think it's a little out of control the way things are going with streaming. I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm not a professional in this. I'm not, or you know, this is not what my channel is about necessarily. But I think it's an interesting conversation, and yeah, I like to kind of see what people think about this and everything in terms of streaming and everything like that. And you know, I mean, the good thing is that we have a lot of control as musicians, that we can release music basically whenever we want and however we want. You know, there's no one telling us, unless you're with a record label. As an independent musician, you can release your music however which way, and you know, if you put it online, you don't have to pay for CDs being pressed and all this sort of stuff. But there is still I do like to have CDs, and I still sell CDs. You know, a lot of my audience buy CDs off me. I'm looking for questions. Great. Hammerhead Garage says, sounds fantastic on my end. Great. Alexander, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream. Put your feet on metal pedal box. It may help. That's a good point. Maybe that's... I don't know if I have, like... I don't know if it's because I have... I'm not wearing any shoes. I don't know if that has an effect. I'm not sure. It's the fact that I'm just not barefoot but wearing socks. I don't know if that has an effect to the ground loop thing that we were talking about earlier. Jidge says, yes, we can hear the hum. Yeah, okay. But it's very quiet, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't have bothered me if I was like on stage and at a gig, you know. I would have just gone through it because there's noise anyway coming out of speakers, you know. Yeah. So Jidge says, all my pedal boards run on lithium power packs, no hum. Yeah, that's a good shout. I saw that you did that, Jidge. And not only is that good for like being portable and just being able to take them anywhere and play anywhere, that if it's on a lithium power pack, if it's on a battery pack, then there's no chance of picking up any hum ground loops that are going on. But you do have to charge it. I guess that's the only drawback. But if you've got good lithium power packs, then I guess it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. Just out of a question there, Jidge, what do you use to convert? So like the typical 9 volt power lead, right? Have you got some kind of converter that converts from the lithium to them, or like are you using a power bank? Like I use the MXR DC brick. Obviously, there's lots of others, and then that is going into the power bank is going into the lithium, right? Is that right? And then do you need some kind of converter to convert the power from that into the... I guess it's like a lot of these lithium, they take USB power, no? Is there a converter? Have you had problems with that? That would be interesting to find out. Maybe I need to explore with this setup. Lithium power bank. Powering the pedals. And if you had any problems with like pedals that require extra juice, like, I don't know, 12 volt, 18 volt, this sort of stuff, that would be interesting. Timothy says, is that talking about purchasing a Loudon 35 with ebony back and sides and Sitka spruce top. Lovely. Any thoughts on wood combo? Yeah, I mean, it's a 35 is lovely. Absolutely. I really like, obviously I'm biased. I like the cedar. I really like cedar tops. But that's just me. But they definitely are, you know, they're soft wood. They're softer. They're prone to like scratches and stuff. And they do have a little bit more of a mellow tone to them, you know. So it depends on kind of what you're after and stuff like that. But I do like, for back and sides, I like mahogany. I like rosewood. Rosewood is really nice. I also like walnut as well. Walnut back and sides is lovely with cedar top. I always like cedar tops, especially for Loudons. But I have played the spruce tops as well, and the spruce tops are nice. They got a little bit more kind of clarity in there. But obviously with going with like a... Is it an 035, Timothy? That would be interesting. I don't know if you said what size guitar. Is it an O model or is it a different size? If you go for an O model, then it's, you know, then you are getting a lot of that low end anyway, just because of the size of the guitar, you know. But absolutely, yeah. Ebony back and sides is an interesting one. I don't know if I've actually played the ebony back and sides with the spruce top. There was a while back I actually played on the Loudon stand. There was one of these shows, like a guitar. It's like, I can't remember what it's called now. The London Guitar Show or something like this. Something like this. It's not too big. It wasn't back then. It was like 2000 and I want to say 2015 or something like this. Maybe 2014. Maybe 2016. I can't remember now. Anyway, I played on their stand and I got to chat with them all, and it was really nice. And I got to obviously play all of the guitars and stuff, and they had so many there. I'm not sure if I played the ebony back and sides though. That sounds lovely though. Yeah. Yeah, but if you can try it, if you can find a shop somewhere that stocks a lot of Loudons. Don't know where you're based, but there are a few you can find them that do stock a lot, and you can find out on their website as well. You know, all their distributors. So definitely worth trying them out. You know. Alexander says yes without shoes. So it does. Is that yes? It does make a difference. I can't remember what I asked now. Okay, 5 volt to 9 volt. Okay, so that's on the. That's on the. Oh, hold on. You said something earlier. Jidge says I used to have to make my own converter, but now I've found a converter on AliExpress with isolated supplies to each pedal. Nice. And they're really cheap. Okay, nice. That's pretty cool. 5 volt to 9 volt. Nice. Leave a link in the song club. Yeah, absolutely. That would be great. Thanks for that. I'll definitely be looking into that for sure. Timothy says F35. That's on the Loudon. Which size? The F models are really nice. I actually used to have an F model. I stupidly sold it. I just couldn't get on with it. I think sometimes I feel like now I'm at the stage of my life where I'm just like, I don't want to sell anything unless I really have to. But yeah, I wouldn't do that again. But I think I'm just so used to the O model, the F model. I just couldn't get used to it for some reason. It felt a little too small for me. I don't know. There's something about like when you've been playing the same guitar for so long and the same shape, it is a very specific shape, this guitar. And it is quite big on the low end, it's really quite high. And it's really quite thick, it's a really chunky guitar. But I like that. It's like I have something to sort of, hold on to and to hug. So, I think it's probably just because I'm so used to this model and so used to this size, and this shape, that I just can't get used to any other model. It's really weird. It's although I do have other guitars that are smaller, I have nylon string guitars, I have classical guitars. That's fine for me to play. But maybe just because I'm not playing them that often, that I'm not regularly playing them all the time like I am this one. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, I'll do another song now. Keep with the questions. It's all good. Lots of different topics on this one. It's really nice. I'm going to play a song that I haven't played in a long time, but I think I've just got the pickups coming through on there. I'll bring the microphone in now, and it should sound a little bit nicer. That's the mic. I'm going to lower the volume of that black stack. That's just sounding a little bit. There we go. All right. This is called Dr. Price. and this is a traditional song from Wales. The story is this Dr. Price was a Welsh physician, and he basically came up with, or was one of the first people that started cremating people. And he was a bit of a character. He was a vegetarian and a nudist, and he was a bit of a wild one. And he got into trouble because he was because of his wild thoughts, but he didn't care what people thought, and that's what this song is about. It's called Dr. Price.
Was a man called Dr. Price. He lived on lettuce, nuts and rice, and he worshipped both the moon and sun, and walked the hills with nothing on. A randy doctor in his day brought many girls round the family way. These little bastards could be seen from Pontypool to Pontyclean. The nonconformists didn't like the practices of Dr. Price. They said he wasn't nice to know. He had enormous libido, and I don't care a bugger, and I don't care a bugger, and I don't care a bugger, no. What anybody thinks of me. When the local deacon saw young Dr. Price and broke the law, they shouted at him McAfee and put him under lock and key. And Dr. told the magistrate he didn't care about his fate. It was the most hygienic way, and I'll be a famous man someday. And I don't care a bugger, I don't care a bugger, no. And I don't care a bugger, no. What anybody thinks of me. And at the age of 88, the doctor thought he'd take her mate. He married a girl called Gwenllian. He was the father of her son. Her doting dad was Dr. Price. He named the baby Jesus Christ. He wrapped it in a flannel shawl, the bonniest bastard of them all. And 1 year later, sad to say, the Dodder's baby passed away. And after chapel late one night, he set that little corpse alight. And I don't care a bugger, no, I don't care a bugger, I don't care a bugger, no. What anybody thinks of me.
So that was Dr. Price. I haven't played that in so long that I basically mixed up the verses, and I was singing like the third verse, where the second verse should be, and all stuff like that. But I kind of got through it. But that's a fun one to play, but it's can be quite fast paced, you know. And when you play like fast-paced songs, then, and maybe you're a little nervous, you need to be careful not to speed up too much, you know, because I remember back, I've been playing this for like, I don't know, when I started playing this like 10 years ago, I was definitely, you know, I did have some nervous points of like playing, when I was playing live, and I just remember like thinking in certain moments, man, this is too fast. I should slow it down. And I think this is something I've been talking a lot with my students as well. And it's I think it's something that happens a lot, especially when we're nervous. And I think it happens naturally anyway when we're performing. But I think one of the tricks is to not start fast. If you start too fast, then it's a lot harder to slow down, you know. Also, it's that thing of like, when you're a bit nervous, you kind of just want to get through the song a little bit without making too many mistakes, you know. And so there's a little bit of that, but yeah, it's the trick is to basically start slower than normal, slower than you, almost uncomfortably slow, because it's a lot easier to speed up the song gradually than to try and slow down the song. You know, it's still possible, of course, but I think if you're just starting playing live, then it can be something that can really help you if you start your songs a little bit slower, especially for a song that's like a fast-paced song. You haven't heard me play that live? No, I haven't. I think I've only played this like a couple of times on live streams. I just need to adjust this microphone slightly. We'll see. I'm not used to having like a clip-on mic on my guitar, and I forget about it. And just then I was like, I normally like sometimes relax my hand on the top of my guitar like this, and it just knocked the mic. Need to be aware of things like that. But yeah, that's not a song that I have played that much on the live streams. But of course, it's on that first album. That first album, it's on there. All right, I just want to have a listen to this microphone a little bit. So I'm going to mute just in terms of listening to the difference in the volume. So I think that could come up a little bit in volume. So that this microphone is obviously picking up all like those typical microphone frequencies, you know, on the sort of the mid and high ranges. And I've actually given this a low cut on like 80 hertz, a low cut filter. So I've just cut that really low end because I don't want any of that anyway. And with these sort of mics that you clip on, you know, they can pick up like vibrations, especially when I do like hammer-ons and pull-offs. All this sort of stuff that's on the neck, you know. And you know, that can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you want. But it's so I just cut off that low end, that really low end, because I leave that low end for the pickups anyway. And I use these live streams as like a practice for my live performances, because typically I do perform live with a dynamic microphone. Which this is here is a dynamic mic, and I have my pickups, and I have I have some kind of microphone on my guitar, either on the guitar itself like this, or it's like an external small diaphragm condenser, or it's maybe an internal mic or something like this, you know. Whatever it is, I generally like to blend pickups with mics. And I'll just bring those pickups in again now. All right. Sounding good. Okay. I'm just going to go straight into another song, if that's okay with everyone. And because I'm feeling it right now. I wrote a little set list down just before this. There's one that I play a lot that I haven't played for a little while in a live stream. It's called The River. This one is capoed on the 6th fret, which is really high. So it doesn't really give me much of neck room to move around. But I don't move around much in this one. It's basically has this bass, the same bass line. This kind of thing. And variations around that. And I wrote this song when I was living on a canal boat in London, and a lot of people think, especially in the countryside in England, that people that are on canal boats and narrow boats, they it's all very lovely living, and everything, you know, is very calm and relaxed and not very stressful, which couldn't be further from the truth in my experience of living on a boat. It was literally a sinking boat. It was there was a hole in the boat, and it was sinking when I got it, and which, you know, is not the most reassuring thing, to be living on a sinking boat. That should be a song in itself. That's a song title, isn't it? Living on a sinking boat. Yeah, I'm gonna write that song. But this is called The River, and this is about me noticing various people that lived on the river, and people that I've met along the way, because I lived on various stretches of rivers and canals around London for like 5 years or so. So I met a lot of people, and you know, there's a lot of riffraffs. There's a lot of river rats living on boats and on these rivers, and I thought I'd just kind of write a song about them. Here we go. It's called The River.
She's a drunk, a middle-aged mum. She had children when she was too young. Now is something you might be surprised. 3 different kids from 3 different guys. She spends her time drinking away, drinking special brew every day. How did she end up this way? People walking past would say. Down by the river you may find nothing but tit and tat. Here at the river we all are just a bunch of river rats. He's a loner, he's an old man, an old boater, they used to have plans. Now all he has is a very long beard, keeping him awake all his tears. He has one friend in all the world, his old dog with the long grey curls. Never sees the light of day, just waiting for time to pass away. Down by the river you may find nothing but tit and tat. Here at the river we all are just a bunch of he's a dad, he's a nice guy, a young father that doesn't know why he can't see his poor little son, 'cause all these things this kid's mother has done. He has no money, no job, he looks hard to the arm Bob, he'd do anything for holding Bob. He loves his kid on more than he's got. Oh. Down by the river you may find nothing but tit and tat. Here at the river we all are just a bunch of river rats. That was The River. I recorded that on my second album, which was quite different to my first. My first album was very minimal instruments, and mainly just vocals and guitar. And then we put instruments over the top after. So like there would be basically one instrument maximum on one other instrument maximum on each song. So there'd be like double bass. Another song would have a bit of violin on there. Another song would have like harmonica. Another song would have like a melodeon or something like this, which I generally really like, because it kind of keeps things simple, you know. And of course, if you know any of my, if you've seen any of my videos, I like to keep recordings very simple. But on the second album, it was a lot more complicated. It had like harmonies with a backing vocalist that I worked with, and he was actually a percussion player as well, and we had some percussion on there. So he had like a drum kit and sort of a mixture of various sort of a small drum kit and percussion sort of stuff, and at the same time backing vocals, and I actually toured with him as well. It's a good friend of mine called Fred Claridge, and he's touring all over the place with various artists still. Fantastic musician, multi-instrumentalist, and he's got his own music as well. But anyway, it was very different, and that was on the second album. But I would like to do various re-recordings of some of these, because oh look, it's one of the things that it does. It thinks I'm doing a thumbs up, so it does a thumbs up back. While we're at it, why don't we try some different stuff? Will it do anything like that? Oh, look, some balloons. There you go.
Party time. So what was I saying? Yeah, I would like to do some re-recordings of some of these older songs that I've done, especially songs that are with sort of that sound very different in the recordings, because I played them with various instruments and had different arrangements and stuff like this. So that's one of the things that I'm thinking about in terms of Spotify and stuff like that. But I'm also debating on kind of eventually taking down some of my stuff from Spotify. This is something I haven't really discussed with anyone. So it's just thoughts in my head. And, putting it somewhere else, potentially. I don't know. I'm just experimenting with thoughts in terms of like it's available with CDs, but obviously people want to still maybe listen to it. And so there's places like Bandcamp, or even on my website, there's various options out there. But of course, people like the convenience of Spotify and that they just have access to everything. But I do find it a little crazy that people pay, I don't know what it is, 10 or 12 pounds, dollars, euros, whatever it is, and then they get access to pretty much any music that's ever been recorded ever, which is a little bit insane. It's a bit like all-you-can-eat buffet, And I know there are various people sort of campaigning for people to kind of pay what you listen to. So depending on what you listen to, that's your price. What you pay, Spotify will be different. But I don't think that they're ever going to go for that type of model. Anyway, it's I don't want to ramble about this because it's a big topic, But yeah. Okay, let's have a look at some of the comments. Here we go. We got some to go through. Tom Anderson, how's it going? Good to have you at the live stream. Tom says, hey man, long time. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing great, thanks. What do you got there on the guitar? Is it a camera or a sort of instrument microphone? Greetings from Norway. Yeah. It would be cool, wouldn't it, if this was a little camera and then you could like see the fretboard up close. No, it's not a camera. It's a microphone. It's a Neumann MCM 114. They're designed for close miking instruments. So this can be used on multiple different instruments. It's not specifically for guitars, although this is the guitar set, so it comes with the clamp that is designed to be clamped on the guitar, But it's designed for close miking in live applications. So that's what it is, and I'm trying it out at the moment. I'm lucky enough that companies send me stuff to try out and see what I think. So it's a really nice microphone. I'm really enjoying it. I actually use the Neumann KM184 small diaphragm condenser. I use that live. I've been using that live for so many years, and I compared them, and I really couldn't hear much of a difference at all in terms of the sound and the tonal quality and everything like that. So yeah, it's a microphone and I don't usually use microphones clipped to the guitar. And I've always struggled with microphones live, because if you want to use a microphone live, then you have various different options, and there's no like perfect option. So it's an interesting one. I've never really explored microphones that are clipped on the guitar, and so this is just something that is I'm exploring at the moment, and hopefully I get to try this out on an actual gig. I'm hoping to get a gig soon here in Berlin, something over the next couple of months. I did have something potentially, but it fell through. It didn't happen in the end. It was like a cafe gig or something. It didn't happen, unfortunately, but maybe it'll still happen. I don't know. Anyway, I'm hoping to have more gigs. I definitely have something booked. It's like a house concert in October. That's actually in the Netherlands. Yeah, so I'm hoping to try some stuff out, some of this stuff these mics that I play. But I basically, am combining the microphone with the two pickups with the black stack sound hole pickup and K&K Pure Mini bridge pickup. And I like the sound. Sounds very nice. Yeah, hope that answers your questions. Peter Watson, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream. Says, could you talk about your streaming setup, signal chain, processing, compression, effects in the Neumann interface? Also, is the sound independent from your Sony camera, the ZV-E10? Yeah. The sound is completely separate. So there's not much in terms of like today. I rushed things a little bit and I just plugged stuff in. And I didn't spend as much time setting up things as I normally do. And I'm actually just experimenting things. So I normally, or I have done in the past, I've gone through my interface and then gone through my DAW, my DAW, which is Reaper, but it doesn't matter. You can do this with any DAW. And then only monitored my sound through my interface. Obviously, I wouldn't monitor through the DAW, the DAW sound, because there would be a delay. And so that's kind of what I've done in the past, and I've done all like the compression and reverb and stuff like that in the DAW. Today, right now, I have nothing. So I have no EQ, I have no compression. Everything is just going straight into the interface, which is a Neumann MT48 interface. And it's basically acting like a digital mixer. And it basically is a digital mixer. And I'm able to control everything here. You can't really see it, but I can control everything with a touch screen here. And all my levels and everything like that, which is really nice to do. And I do have reverb here, so I'm using the reverb, so you're hearing just the sound, basically everything that I'm hearing through the interface, basically. So there's really nothing much going on except everything just going straight into the preamps. No compression, no EQ. And it doesn't sound too bad. If I was doing this if I had more time and if I had a proper setup, I probably would go in there and do EQ and do a little bit of compression, maybe. I don't like to add too much compression, mainly just on the pickups, really. And the microphones I tend to just kind of leave, and just maybe a little bit of EQ, and that's it. But apart from that, that's pretty simple. And then the camera is just going into the computer. I'm just using a Mac Mini, and it's going in via the HDMI cable. So that you can connect this camera via USB, but it's not as reliable as the HDMI. HDMI is like pure, as you know, like a lot of TVs use HDMI and stuff like this. It's just the pure high quality video signal, and that's just going straight in, and then I've got a little converter which converts that HDMI signal into a USB signal, and then that is being processed. And I'm using OBS, which is a free streaming software that I really like. It's really good. There's a learning curve because it's also free. It's not the easiest to use, but there's lots of information about it online and stuff. And that receives the signal from the interface, that receives the signal from my camera, or any camera that I would use, or any interface. It receives pretty much any signal, and then I can just stream to YouTube directly from OBS. It's automatically hooked up to my YouTube channel, so I did that a while ago, and then so it's fairly automatic, although it's not massively automatic, because I do have to there is some setup process in terms of like the lights and the camera, and I've got a slightly different setup to what I normally do. I'm using a dynamic microphone today. I sometimes use a large diaphragm condenser instead, but I wanted to have a bit more of a live feel, because usually if I was performing live on stage, I would probably use a dynamic microphone, and not a large diaphragm condenser. Although people do use that, especially like a lot of bluegrass musicians I've seen use a large diaphragm condenser. I don't know how that would be for like trying to get a lot of volume out of it. I'm not sure. That might be tricky to get to EQ. I don't know. Maybe that's something I need to try. Anyway, hope that answers a little bit of your questions there. Thanks for the question. Any more? Just look at any more questions. Hey, Many Vibes. Good to have you in the live stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Julian. Good to have you. Welcome, everyone. And Tom says, is that the mic we're hearing through the live stream now? Yeah, exactly. That's the mic. This one here you can hear through the live stream. And I can just mute, I can solo that one. So I'll mute the pickups. So now you're just hearing this microphone. And it's a really nice microphone, obviously, because it's Neumann. And I'm just very conscious of it because I'm not used to having a mic clipped on to the outside of my guitar. So I'm just conscious of like accidentally knocking it. I always debate whether it's good to have it on top here, or some people attach it to the bottom here underneath the. Might be easier not to knock. I'm not sure. So that's just the mic, and obviously I have a low cut filter on that, because I don't really need those deep low ends anyway. give it a little bit more reverb. You know, I'm just after those sort of those acoustic qualities, the that a mic can pick up. And then once I'm happy with that, I can just bring those other pickups back in, the K&K and the black stack. You know, and the K&K kind of brings in a lot of that bottom end, and the black stack deals with a lot of that sort of direct clarity from the strings. Julian says, that Loudon sounds crazy. Many Vibes says, your guitar is worn at the bottom of the sound hole, but I don't see how that happened. Did you used to play with a pick? No, I used to play with like nails, a lot longer nails, because I experimented, and I did actually play with finger picks, and I did used to do a lot more strumming back in the day and this type of stuff, and this doesn't have a pick guard on this guitar. So it just kind of gradually worn away a little bit. But yeah, I don't really do that anymore. So, but the cedar top, this wood is really soft. It's like really, really soft, and you can dent it really easily, you know. Like if I was to just put a bit more pressure with my fingers and my fingernails, you know, I could easily sort of dig into it. And you can see this on a lot of guitars, like a lot of guitarists that use like percussion techniques and a lot of strumming. Like if you see John Gomm's old Loudon, it's just a complete mess. It's like it's really he's, because obviously it had a cedar top, and I think it had a cedar top, pretty sure he had the same guitar just with a cutaway. It looked completely ruined. But obviously, you know, you can see how that happened because of all the techniques that he does. Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't really do it anymore and I used to actually rest my little finger on the guitar a lot more like this, and I'd really sometimes really dig in and deep down, and I mean it had a bit of a cut here a little bit anyway. It was wearing away anyway, and then with me like digging my little finger in, didn't really help. But yeah, I'm not sure how much that contributed to it. But anyway, That's the main reason. I'll do another song now, and what I'm gonna do, let me have a look. Yeah, it's so it's getting a little late, so I'm gonna make this the last song now, before I get too exhausted. But feel free to, if you've got any last questions, anything you want to ask, now's the time to ask, and then I'll try and get through to everyone, answer everyone's questions. If you have, by the way, if you have asked a question on one of my videos, it usually takes me a while to get through everyone. I really do try to answer everyone's questions and reply back to everyone, but it usually takes me a little while. So just bear with me, or you can just come on these live streams and ask me here. I'll be taking a little break just to let everyone know. I'll be taking a little bit of a break for Easter. We're going away with the family for about 2 weeks. So, but I'll still be active in the Song Club. If you're not part of the Song Club, I invite you to join. There's a link in the description down below. It's a free community. Most of the people here are part of the Song Club and already know, but if you're not, then I encourage you to join, and we can continue the conversations there, and keep posting and keep sharing the music and sharing the vibes. All right, this song is I did this a little while ago, and it's called House of the Rising Sun, and I did this, and I really like the recording I did of this. It's on my YouTube channel, and I played this. The pickup was going through an electric amp that I have, and that had a mic on, and it was just in certain moments. So the pickup was connected to a volume pedal, and the volume pedal was connected to the electric guitar amp, and then I'd have like a little bit of these sort of almost a little bit distortion would come through in these certain moments. But anyway, I really like the recording that I did. Maybe that's something I would release potentially on Spotify. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to play it now. Haven't played it in a while, so hopefully I still remember how it goes. But anyway, this is House of the Rising Sun. There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun. It was the fall of many poor boy, and God, I know I'm one. My mother is a tailor. She sewed my new blue jeans.
My father is a gambling man, oh, down in New Orleans. The only thing a gambler needs is a suitcase and a trunk. The only time that he's satisfied is when he's all drunk. There was a house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun, and it was the fall of many poor boy. And God, I know I'm one. There is a house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun, and it was the fall of many poor boy. And God, I know I'm one.
That was House of the Rising Sun. Haven't played that in a long time. I always choose songs that I haven't played in a while. All right, so let's answer. So have a look at some of these questions. Here we go. Many Vibes says, I rarely anchor my pinky. Do you recommend it? Not necessarily, not always. I generally would experiment with anchors. There's various different anchors that you can get, that you can do. A lot of like I experimented with it, and I saw it because a lot of like blues players and a lot of folk players were also doing it. So a little bit of that was like imitating them and sort of seeing that they were doing it, so I experimented. But now I've kind of come up with my own way, my own style of doing things, and I don't really do it as much anymore, but I still do sometimes do it. But I generally like to have some kind of anchor. Not always, but whether the anchor can be just like your thumb on one of the strings, or a finger on one of the strings as well, that you're not playing. The problem with having the little finger as an anchor is that the little finger is generally quite short. So that means that let me just get another window up here so I can see what I'm doing on my right hand. You see my hand is quite close to the guitar. And that's not always like what you want. Like a lot of the players that I was looking at, like Kelly Joe Phelps was a big one there. He plays a lot with his hand, or used to, like this sort of stuff. So the hand is very, very close to the strings, but classical players, and flamenco players, they play with their hand out like this, So it's a very different position, and a lot of them play like this. It's called a resting stroke. So you can get a lot of volume by almost like pushing in, So there's various different ways, and I do like a mixture of everything on the right hand. But that's one of the drawbacks of having your little finger here, is that your whole hand is very close to the guitar, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you need, what you're trying to do. With this alternate thumb stuff, like Travis picking or whatever you want to call it, it suits it. It suits having this and using like the skin of your thumb as well. Is a very soft sound, But if you want to use a little bit of nail, obviously you need to get a different position in your hand. So if you want to use lots of different positions, then having a little finger there, your little finger always resting there, is not necessarily the best choice. Does that make sense? So, but generally I like to have some kind of anchor, some kind of contact point, at least on the strings, That way I know, like, I don't like to have my hand out like this, I mean, not many people have their hand out like this when they're trying to play, but you know what I mean. I've seen some people, they just kind of hover, and then it's really hard to sort of judge, okay, where are the strings without looking, because we don't want to be looking on the right hand. So generally, I do recommend that you have some kind of anchor on the strings, but I don't think necessarily the little finger is the best one, is what my point is. I would experiment with first having like maybe your thumb as an anchor, and maybe like your ring finger as an anchor here. I do still use my ring finger on my right hand for like some of the higher notes. I don't really use my little finger, very rarely, not really. But experiment and see what works for you. But I definitely recommend having some kind of touch point to the strings. It definitely helps to navigate your way around, and to know, what you're playing and where you are, because you can kind of feel the strings, because they feel very different. The wound strings, the unwound strings, the thickness of them. You can kind of work them out by touching them. And of course, our right hand, it's all about the touch. It's all about the how hard, how soft, in which part of the finger we're playing with, all this texture, all this, it's all relative. It's all part of it. It's a big part of the sound we're trying to get, So it's important to be able to, to have some kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to say, to be comfortable, I think, with the right hand and what it's doing, And a good way to do that is to have an anchor, some kind of contact point. I think that's my point. If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Many vibes. And answers your question. Okay. Let me have a look. Some more questions. Julian says, last time I had a J45 to play with you, but his time, it's a Taylor 418ER. Just working out if that's a question. I don't think that's a question. But your next one is a question. What is your tuning right now? It's Dadgad. 100% it's Dadgad. Yeah, many vibes, got it. Almost always in Dadgad. D-A-D-G-A-D. Yeah. But I use various different tunings, and it's not tunings, keys within Dadgad. So I just released this mini course within the Song Club. And that's sort of to guide you my approach to Dadgad. If you're at that stage, if you're interested in that, then you can join the Song Club. If you're not already joined, links in the description down below. It's free, and then you can check out that mini course, which you can get through in your own time. It's not too long. It's about 8, 10, 15-minute videos, and there's things to download and stuff like that. Just kind of tells you my approach to the tuning. Many Vibes says, it sounds as haunting as I imagine New Orleans to be. Yeah. Lovely. Glad you like the song. Really happy. Okay. But I'm gonna try and pronounce your name, but I'm sorry if I get it wrong. Mahabub? I'm not. Sorry, that was really bad pronunciation. Says, what would you consider a good cover of a song, solo, acoustic, and vocal wise? Share some tips to serve the song. I think it depends on. It depends on the song. And it depends on your style and your approach, and what you're going for. I think the best cover songs are the people that do this cover song in their own way, in their own style. And I know that's easy to say. If you haven't been playing for very long, then maybe you don't have a style yet, and maybe you don't know, or you don't know what your style is. But that's okay. And I think I think we shouldn't try to play cover songs we shouldn't try to play them exactly how the artist plays them or performs them. We should try and do them differently, because what's the point in doing something that someone's already done probably a lot better than you, and there we go. I've just seen that thumbs up now. It does it again. I will end with some confetti or some balloons. Don't worry if anyone wants that. I hope that answers your question. I'm sorry if sometimes it's hard to know exactly what the questions are, the meaning of them, but hopefully that answers it a little bit. I don't really do many covers, although it's something that I'm I'm keen on doing more, I think, because I'm realizing that I can do them in my own way, you know, and I can do them in my own style, you know. If I can do a cover song in my own way and make it mine, you know, then I think that's a good approach. I always felt like I couldn't do these cover songs justice, you know, a little bit. So that's why I stick with like traditional songs or really old songs. I mean, I like those songs as well. That's a big reason. But also I felt like I couldn't do them justice, you know, a little bit. So, but I think in realizing that it's important for you to be able to do them in your own way, then that's, you know, that can relieve that pressure to feel like you have to perform it just as good, if not better, than the artists themselves. Many Vibes says, thanks, Fabian. That makes sense. I'm very busy being jealous of Mary's guitars. Yeah, absolutely. Mary Spender, is that? She's got some good, nice guitars. Timothy says, enjoyed everyone, and of course thank you for taking the time for us all. Appreciate you, Timothy. Thanks a lot. Have a good evening. I think I have answered everyone's questions. Sorry if I missed any, but I think pretty much I've covered everyone. That's it for this live stream. Thank you, everyone, as always. Thanks, Gij. Thanks, Timothy. Thanks, Many Vibes, Julian, everyone earlier. Can't name everyone. Tom, Alexander, and everyone else before. Hammerhead Garage, of course. Lewis, Armin, who was there earlier, and everyone that was there earlier. Thank you so much. As always, you know, if you're not part of the Song Club, the community, then I encourage you to do so, because we have these conversations and we share our music, and we have lots of really nice people in there. It's a really nice community, and I will see everyone in the community. And I will be gone, so I'll be taking a little bit of a break, like an Easter break for 2 weeks. But I have some interesting videos that I will still be publishing that I'll schedule up, that I think you'll be interested on the YouTube channel, and of course I'll be active in the Song Club community. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you next time. Let's do some kind of balloon or something. Let's see what it does. Some confetti. There we go. And I hit the mic. That's a good one to end. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'll see you again next time. Bye.